Dari Fiona ddefnyddio'r gair hen bobl. Ac cwestiwn mae stori as dyn nhw wir neu ddim. Ac yn i'n meddwl, os di rwy'n yn gyfarwydd, mae yna grŵp rock enwog iawn, The Clash, a mae gen nhw un o'r cynnion mwy enwog, London's Calling, a'r geiriau gen Joe Strummer, a mae'n dweud yn y gan yna, and you know what they say, some of it is true. A mae'n linell fendigedig am storia, mae hynna'n berthnasol o fan hyn. Bryn yr hen bobl. Dyna'r enw ar y feddrod neu'r gromlech yma, a'r enw gorau fyswn i ddadla ar unrhyw feddrod yn y byd. Achos yr hen bobl ydy'n cyn-deidiau ni. Pobl oedd yn byw fan hyn falle 5,000 o flynyddoedd yn ôl. Dyma'r unig feddrod, yr unig gromlech ar Sir Fôn lle mae'r domen wedi goroesi, wedi parhau. Mae hwn yn bwysig achos mae yna gwestiwn da wedyn be oedd o gwmpas rai o'r cromlechi eraill. A pe da ni'n cyrraedd Bodowir, ydy be bynnag oedd o gwmpas y gromlech na wedi diflannu oherwydd amaethyddiaeth, neu faint oedd o amgylch nhw o gwbl? Cwestiwn. Fiona said two things, wonderful things. She mentioned her hen bobl, the old people. This is actually called Bryn, the hill or the hillock of her hen bobl, the old people. And I would argue it's the best name on a cromlech or a burial monument anywhere in the world. Because the old people, her hen bobl, are our ancestors. People who would have been here, what are we saying, about 5,000 years ago, somewhere in the 4th millennium perhaps. Yeah, 4th, 3rd millennium, somewhere around 5,000 years ago. Yr hen bobl, our ancestors. It gives us a connection. That word, yr hen bobl, gives us a connection. The second thing Fiona mentioned, the story, whether it was true or not. There's a great line, I don't know if you're familiar, a song called London's Calling by a band called The Clash. Joe Strummer, the late Joe Strummer, great songwriter, and he has this line in London's Calling, you know what they say, some of it is true. And there's a superb story here, and I don't know if it's true, but up until recently there was a tree growing on the hill. And the story from Lady Anglesey is that this was Lady Anglesey, Cyffin Williams, sorry, the story from Lady Anglesey, that it was Cyffin Williams the artist's favourite tree. So Cyffin would have painted this site. A few years ago the tree falls down. And this is an archaeological site, uprooted and disclosed actually that there's light-coloured stones on top of this mound. So possibly when this is built, the mound is covered. It's an earthen mound, but it's covered, they're not quartz, but this light-coloured stone, I'm not sure if it's limestone. How dramatic would that have been? But the story from Lady Anglesey, we can't remove the tree, even though it's fallen on the top of an archaeological monument. It's Cyffin's favourite tree. And the tree stood here for quite a long time. It's finally gone. We love the story, but as Fiona Armstrong said, in good company, who knows what's true? If you come closer, you can see the bedrod, the actual chamber inside. There's a couple of good things here as well. There's a stone at the bottom, if you look closely, that has two semicircles in it. The stone is broken. So our question, whether it was originally a closing stone of an entrance or a passage here, and the purpose of the two holes, y ddau dwll. A eto pan da ni'n deud storia, da ni'n gofyn y cwestiwn, oedd y tylla yna i stwffio esgyrn ni mewn ar ôl iddyn nhw gau y gromlech, neu oedd y tylla yna i ganiatáu'r ysbrydion ddod allan. We've got two funny stories with the holes in the stones. Sometimes with these things, you know, that they were used over a period of time and people may have been reintroduced to the chamber. And it's a bit of a joke whether bones were stuffed in at a later date or whether it allowed the spirits to come out. Who knows? And who knows? Who knows? Wonderful little chamber has been excavated. There's one other thing here that's quite unique and quite strange. Just to our right, mae yna linell syth lle mae'r defaid yma, a da chi'n gweld y dail poeth. Llythrenol i'r dde rwan, os da chi'n edrych yn y cae, lle mae'r dail poeth, mae yna fymryn o glawdd neu codiad yn y tir. Subtle. If you look right here, directly towards the trees, you can just see a bit more nettles. There's just a small rise in the land, and it's about 100, what are we saying, 50 yards, 100 yards. It's a long stretch. Not quite sure what it is. It has a relationship with this site. Somebody once joked that it represented the penis and that the cromlech here represented the... oh, you can see it. Excellent. I'll show you a picture.
I think we all know what a penis looks like, Rhys. Anyone who
Stop
doesn't see
videoing
Rhys
this,
later.
we'll be in trouble. It's an interesting one. Certain archaeologists love this thing about phallic. Everything's going to be phallic and fertility. And they're all possibilities. But there is this ridge that comes in towards the cromlech. I've always argued it comes in at a rather awkward angle. So if it is a fertility thing, he's very inexperienced. Yeah. And there may be a suggestion that this sits on top of the ridge. So you've got lots of questions, which comes first, what the relationships are. Bronwyn's got a picture here. It is there. So it's quite unique, this site, Bryn yr Hen Bobl. It's the only surviving mound, and we have this associated earthwork. Do you have any theories to contribute on this?
Well, quite a lot of these tombs had extensions, so that if you were approaching it, say from this direction, it would appear very prominently on the ridgeway, and you find that across Wessex. So whether it's a continuity of that. But there was also a number of polished stone axes found deposited in the chamber, which is quite unusual, from the axe quarry, which is down the coastline at Penman Mawr.
Right. Yeah.
And is there a picture of the stone, that's this shaped stone, which kind of adds to the
all right.
phallic
Yeah.
argument.
Okay. If you have a look at the drawing here then, you can see this ridge. It's difficult to spot these things, but it is there. The problem here probably is that the field's been ploughed, I would imagine, isn't it? So that it's been worn, the ridge. So we've got lots of questions, lots of theories. What do these things mean? And, you know, the worth of the axes is another factor, isn't it? The amount of work going into polishing an axe. It's a lot in human hours. It's an object of value, and they're obviously traded, obviously passed on.
You don't get grave goods at this time, so it's very unusual to have something deposited in there too.
So pass that around quickly. Dyna fo, da iawn. Bryn yr Hen Bobl am enw dan. What a brilliant name.
Yeah.
It really is, isn't it?
Rhys, the tree that's on the top, that's not Cuffin's tree.
I'm presuming the tree that Cuffin painted is the one that fell.
So the bits that are still there then?